Locked in my decision to have a collision with my purpose. It is my assignment to be in alignment with my purpose. I'm locked in, going all out, no fear, no doubt. My God, my choice, your will, I'm all yours. Locked in, going all out, no fear, no doubt. My God, my choice, your will, your will, your will. Locked in my decision to have a collision with my purpose. It is my assignment to be in alignment with my purpose. Have a collision with purpose, 'cause you know that you're worth it, and your dream is worth capturing. If I'm not living on purpose, then none of it is worth it. My assignment is uplifting souls for the King, souls for the King, souls for the King.
Greetings, friends of the A Collision with Purpose movement. Welcome to Bridging Generation, Voices of Men in a Changing World. I am Dr. Laxley Stephenson. This groundbreaking podcast delves into the multifaceted experiences of men across different generations in an area where societal norms and expectations rapidly evolve. This show offers young and older men a unique platform to voice their challenges, triumphs, and perspectives.
Each episode aims to foster understanding and bridge the gap between generations, exploring themes ranging from masculinity and mental health to career dynamics and personal relationships. By bringing together voices from varied age groups, the show sheds light on the commonalities and differences in the male experience, encouraging open dialogue and mutual learning. I am Dr. Garfield McCook, one of your hosts.
And my name is Augusta Foster, and whether it's a teenager grappling with the pressures of social media or a senior reflecting on the ever-changing definitions of manhood, Bridging Generations is committed to uncovering the real stories of men navigating the complexities of a changing world. Dr. Stephenson, Dr. McCook, gentlemen, it's a new year.
It is a new year, and I should say Happy New Year, gentlemen. Happy New Year's.
Yes. It's a happy one. We're here.
Isn't that a big deal that we're here? Our first show for 2025.
Yes, sir.
Yes, it's a blessing, Lax. And let me just share on the top of the hour here that, one of my Fortis brother from Jamaica, he and his wife, he's a principal there. They were visiting in South Carolina, and on the way to the airport, apparently had a flat tire. And for some reason, he and his wife were out of the car. Kids were in the car with the grandma, and both of them were killed on the spot.
Wow!
So we are fortunate to be here, and every moment matters. So we gotta live and love each other.
Live and love each other is the word,
man.
It's the word. And I saw that in the news, but had no idea you knew them. So my condolences to you, my brother, and to their family, surviving family members. Wow. We're living in a time when we must expect the unexpected. Of course, our focus is on positive outcomes, right? Positive things. But we must also walk in a way that we are mitigating any type of, conducting behaviors like that. Any such thing can happen to anyone, but we are to take precaution. And, look at what happened in was it in New Orleans?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
right?
Yep.
People going out to enjoy themselves, have fun, and look what happened, right?
Just trying to ring in the new year.
So indeed, we're living in a changing world, aren't we?
That's correct.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we're living in a changing world. So anyway, gentlemen, let's focus on the positive. And Augusta, last year you made a commitment. Just give us a brief summary of how that went, and in doing so, what is your commitment for 2025?
So last year I made a commitment where I said I really wanted to. I've always been a person of service. I come from a long line of people of service, whether that be military, law enforcement, serving as lawyers, judges, etc. So I wanted to continue that service, and I really wanted to extend it into like my community. So whether that was feeding the homeless, volunteering at the Gateway Center, volunteering with an amazing program with a buddy of mine, Terrence, and Love Beyond Walls, just really delving into just service throughout the year. I made sure that every month I got out and provided, that my feet were on the ground, that my hands were being utilized. So I was extremely thankful, because that was one of the things I really wanted to endear myself to service to my community, to people that I see every day, because I realized if I can affect a change immediately of where I live, and I'm driving past these people, then how can I sleep here and be here comfortably? The other thing that I did was I said I just wanted to be able to get more dad time, more father time, and made it to every graduation, every award ceremony, every other major event. So it was, that's service also. But I always say, as a father, that's your first service. Like before the charity starts in the home. If you can't do it there, man, you got to figure it out. So amazing year, and looking forward to goals that I've set this year, and man, just knocking them out.
All right, so give us that main thing you're working towards this year, that main thing.
So this year I actually closed out my final live of the Instagram live of the year 2024. And I spoke to intentionality, and this year just being the year of being intentional, being the year of being deliberate, and really emphasizing the importance of surrounding myself with accountability partners, because I'm somebody who firmly believes if you truly love someone, you'll hold them accountable. If you truly love them, you will hold them to the standard that not just you want for them, but that expectation that they told you with their mouth with themselves. So I said this year, little things, weight loss, gym, finishing school, doing that now. Had an accountability partner text me today. Did you get your books? The working out. Tremaine woke me up this morning. We still going to the gym. So this year there's a multitude of things, but the emphasis really is being intentional and being deliberate and getting the job done and finishing things that I start. And I implore anybody watching this on the replay, they call this quit week. It's week 2 of the year, and they call it quit week in the gym world because they say everybody from the 1st to the 2nd to 3rd, they go to the gym, they work out, everybody looks great, and by the 2nd week you quit. So I implore any of you who's watching this, today is January 6th. If you're watching this on the 7th, 8th, whatever day, just don't quit. Just keep going. Consistency, be deliberate, be intentional. You'll look up, year will be over, and you'll be thankful that you stuck with it and that you finished what you started.
So intentionality and self-care is big on your list this year.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Often we celebrate that first day, right, of the year, and it's not all done, is it? That's just one day in how many days?
Right.
So how do you sustain whatever it is that you say you're building and you're pursuing is the key. And intentionality is a powerful, powerful tool to do that, right? So Dr. McCook, give us a quick summary, and don't take as long as Augusta. Give us a quick summary, but most importantly, what is happening this year for you? What's that main thing?
Well, this year, starting off maybe by this weekend, my Jamaica International Foreign Song Competition will launch its second CD. Each year, we try to have the top 3 artists on a CD as a means of promoting them to the world. That's one of the benefits of entering the competition and being in the top 3. So on Friday, we should be launching the second CD. This time it's actually two winners, two of the first and the second place we're going to have this time around. So we're looking forward to that. We're looking forward to another good year. This is our 5th year. And, anything you're doing in increments of 5, those years that are milestone or markers for your progress. So we're looking forward to another good year this year. And I know we have travels coming up in June, which is more on a humanitarian mission that we embark on, and we're heading out of the United States. I'm not sure if I can say where now, but we're going to be out traveling for maybe about 10 days to a country that we think that has a need for our services. So we'll be that's basically what I'm gearing for this year. I don't want to have too much. I want to spend quality time on the projects that we have.
Quality time on the initiatives, right? Because you're not just doing it. You want to do it right, get it done. You want to have results, and that's what it's all about. Drew McCook, thanks for joining us. Sitawa Kisiangani, all the way from Kenya. She says, being intentional and consistent. How about that? All right, big stuff there. For me, it's about scholarship. And this morning, today, we did provide a scholarship, 2 scholarships actually, to 2 students. We'll keep the names, anonymous, but we did that today. So it was all about scholarships for me last year. And of course, we're having our colloquium. And so far, I know for a fact that we will be able to provide at least 5 scholarships to 5 students in attendance. How do I know that? Because the donors already sent the funds to do it. All right. So at least 5 students will benefit from receiving scholarships from a collision with purpose. So now there are some requirements, right? They must be in attendance. So if you're watching, if you're listening to this broadcast,
be there.
Invite students. They come in, they're no charge, they come in for free. Bring them, invite them, get them to the event. They will benefit. They'll be hearing you, Augusta, speak. They'll be hearing you, Dr. McCook. You'll be talking about safe havens, and Augusta will be giving the welcoming remarks. So not a reason why they should be, but come for the scholarship, if for no other reason. So again, this year, it's all about scholarships for me. It's all about the next generation of dreamers. They're heavy on my mind, and that's my focus. Now, we have a guest tonight. We have a guest backstage, and we don't want to keep our guests waiting too long. But before we go there, is there anything you want to add about the colloquium coming up, Augusta?
Outside of if you missed last year's event, don't make the mistake again of missing this year's. Last year was the genesis, the foundation, the infancy, and it was an amazing event. This year, get your tickets now. It's going to be 10 times greater, not just by attendance, but the presentation, the conversations, the networking, and the purpose behind it. We're pouring into those who pour into you. So by all means, I'm looking forward to seeing all of you out there for this, the first major event of 2025.
First major event. Dr. McCook, I know right after the colloquium, we're in full gear for GIFs 2025. But before we talk about GIFs, tell me about what are your thoughts? You will be speaking at the colloquium. What are you thinking?
It's always a warm feeling when you are in the presence of folks just like yourself who are sharing their thoughts, being honored. We'll be honoring a lot of local and international folks, and for their collision with a purpose, I would say. And it's a good experience to be there, to hear different facets of what's going on in the world, and just to share with these folks. Dr. Lax, kudos to you for your leadership in that regard by bringing everyone together in this colloquium. So again, just show up as Augusta said. If you missed last year, don't miss this year, because you'll be 2 years behind and you'd have lost a lot. So be there and be strong and be supportive.
Be there, be strong, and be supportive. And just take an opportunity, a real few minutes, and tell us about GIFs. And dates, and whatever you know so far, and share it with us, please.
Yeah, so the JIFS, which is the Jamaica International Independence Foreign Song Competition, is a competition for Jamaicans living in the diaspora to showcase their talent during our independence celebrations in July. And this year is our 5th year. We have had entrants from all over the world. It's an international thing, from Germany, from England, from Canada, all over. And my phone has been ringing already for folks trying to figure out what the date is. It's going to be the 26th of July, the last Saturday. Officially on the first Saturday in February, we kick off, where we open up and say, okay, it's time for you to submit your MP3s, your lyric sheet. And then, by the end of April, we should have all entries in. And by May 15th, we basically select the top 12. And then we have international voting that goes on through the end of June. And then that way we choose 7 artists, and they all perform here live at Shiloh High School on the last Saturday in July. So we're looking forward to another good year. And folks out there listening, tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend, and let's pack the house this year.
And that's what it's all about. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Interestingly, our keynote speaker for the colloquium, February 22nd, 2025, at the same venue, Shiloh High School, is coming all the way from Kenya. So that should be something. That should be something special. I'm really anticipating that, and all the good work and information he'll be sharing with us. Gentlemen, let's take a quick break, and when we come back, Dr. McCook, you can introduce our special guest for the evening. So let's take a quick break.
I'm a boy kid, I'm a boy kid. I'm a boy kid, I'm a boy kid. I wake up in the morning and I praise the Lord. I thank Him for His protection, and I walk in His steps, declaring that today's provision is set up for me. I love God and I love my friends. I'm a bold kid. I'm a bold kid. I'm a bold kid. I put on my armor and I read His word, blessing come out of my mouth, cause I know to whom I belong. I am bold for Christ, Holy Spirit dwelling within me, carrying His presence wherever He sends me. I'm a bold kid, I'm a bold kid, I'm a bold kid, I'm a bold kid. Loving others as He told me to pray, for healing miracles to see, knowing my identity in Christ, He is in me. I am a bold kid, He loves me, standing firm on His word, proclaiming everything I heard, not afraid because He is with me. Be bold. I'm a bold kid, I'm a bold kid, I'm a bold kid, I'm a bold kid. Put on my armor and I read His word, blessing come out of my mouth, because I know to whom I belong. I am bold for Christ, Holy Spirit dwelling within me, carrying His presence wherever He sends me. I'm a bold kid, I'm a bold kid, I'm a bold kid, I'm a bold kid.
Right, it's that bold kid thing. Welcome back to the show. You're watching Bridging Generations, Voices of Men, and we're living in a changing world. Welcome back. So, Dr. McCook, can you do us the honor of bringing on our special guest for the evening?
Sure. Again, welcome to all watching tonight. We have a very entertaining and informative program for you on this podcast, and it's my pleasure to introduce our special guest tonight. I had to take a little extra time because this young man, I call him a young man, is qualified beyond qualifications. So he lists his strengths, and some of these terms I'm going to say to you, he'll clarify them. He will dissect them for you. He lists his strength as someone in lean manufacturing. He's SMT, surface mount technology. These are all his strengths. SMT programming, and SMT again is surface mount technology. Quality electromechanical processes, NASA specifications, quality manufacturing engineering, process improvement with green and black belt project leadership, root cause analysis. and his major accomplishments are many. So I'll just maybe list what I think was the one that stood out to me most. He implemented Lean Sigma, which is LSS programming for Mechanical Operations Division Hamilton Strand, which is a supporting aerospace industrial productivity company worldwide. And again, I say there's a whole lot, but I will just skim over this for now. He wrote and edited the Green Belt Training Manual, a 40-hour course for the Naval Submarine Base in New London. His education and training, he doctoral studies in business administration, Nova Southwestern University, Master of Business Administration, Nova Southwestern University, Fort Lauderdale, Bachelor of Science in Manufacturing Engineering Technology, Barry University in Miami, Florida. His experience, again, too much to list. I'll just go straight to the Naval Base, New London, where he, upon arrival in 2011, he began establishing CPI, which is Continuous Process Improvement Program for Naval Submarine Support Facility, by duplicating the Lean Six Sigma. And again, you'll hear about the Lean Six Sigma, exactly what it is. Places that he has worked, GS Gulfstream LLC, Warner Robins, Georgia, National Graduate School of Quality Management, Falmouth, MA, Pratt Whitney Aircraft, UTC in Hartford, Hamilton Stundard in Windsor, Connecticut, Rockwell Collins, Cedar Rapids. I mean, I can go on and on, but ladies and gentlemen, let us hear from him. Without further ado, it's my pleasure to welcome our special guest for tonight, Mark D. Milward from Oakdale, Connecticut. Welcome, Mark.
Give him a drum roll. Give him that drum roll. There he is. Wow.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Greetings. Thank you very much for that introduction.
Mark.
Yes, Mark, you had me trying to condense, and I did my best, but you know,
Okay.
I hope it was good enough.
You did well. You did well.
That was a good one. You probably should just call his name, Dr. McCook,
Right?
and bring him on. Because you know,
did well.
he sent a lot of
Thank you.
technical information, didn't he?
Yes.
So, Mark, how you
Yeah,
doing?
all you had to do is to just say engineering.
Engineering.
That would cover it.
Engineering.
Mark, in your words, tell us who is Mark Milward?
Mark Milward is a Jamaican American born in Hartford, Connecticut. I was born into an organization actually that put me on my path. For those of you that are not aware of the West Indian Social Club of Hartford, my father was a founder of that organization. He was a farm worker who came from Clarendon in the 1940s. So I understood very early in life that first of all, I was a Jamaican, or I thought I was, and that in being involved in an organization like that, which is focused on civic duty and civic responsibility, as a child, I just sort of gravitated towards the things that were going on there. So I want to make a note that Dr. McCook said Fortis. You're a Fortis man.
Yes.
Are you? Okay. Okay. Well, and that will take me back even more because my cousin was a Fortis man. I'm sure you recognize that man right there.
Oh, George T.
That's my first cousin.
That's
and you
George
know he
T.
was all about service.
Yes.
And serving others and being of service to people. And I used to go around with him. He used to take me around, and I just saw how his students revered him, and how he was appreciated and focused, and he was my first cousin, but he was more like a best friend.
Yes.
And just being in the midst of people like that, as I said, I was born into the West Indian Social Club, so service and being of service and sharing and being involved in the community I was just born into it. So I hope that can give you some understanding of who I am. And yeah, that's just been my life. As far as going into engineering, at one point in my life, I was into theater. And so I had that divide. I was like, well, am I going to go into the arts, or am I going to pursue engineering? So I went to California and I started my engineering career. I would start in electronics and spent a lot of time in electronics manufacturing. I got into lean. Lean is all about improving processes, and everything is a process. And the discipline is focused on identifying opportunities for improving cost, improving productivity, reducing expenses, improving quality, providing innovation to an organization or to an operation. So that is pretty much a discipline that Fortune 5 companies, they all have some sort of program that is focused on improving their bottom line or driving the balanced scorecard. You all know what a balanced scorecard of a business is: focused on productivity, it's focused on cost, it's focused on the bottom line. And this discipline is focused on improving that in all of those areas. I'll stop there, but
yeah. So we want to ask you some questions, right? And Dr. McCook, you want to lead off with the questions, please?
You mentioned Lean Six Sigma. I kind of read that in his bio, and I was very interested because it kept coming up. He sort of touched on it basically a while ago. To me briefly, there's a whole lot more instead of just a summary. But you mentioned countless green belts and black belts in process improvement. What qualities do you believe are essential for someone to succeed in Lean Sigma?
You really don't have the qualifications. You really don't need a technical background. I have a person that actually is I trained him up to an instructor. He has an undergraduate degree in English. So it's basically an understanding of the principles and the practices, the designations of expertise is identified similar to the martial arts: green belt, black belt, master black belt. They can even start as low as yellow belt. That's just your level of competence. I'm a master black belt, so that's the highest level of certification that you can receive. I also have training responsibilities with the Institute of Industrial and Systems Engineers. I have responsibility for deployment in the Caribbean, in Jamaica, in Nigeria, in Ghana, Africa. So you generally, people do have a technical background, but they don't need to have a technical background. They have to understand just basic principles of project management, process analysis. And the thing that throws people is the Six Sigma part, because that's the statistics. Okay, while you have to have a certain level of statistical expertise to reach black belt and then master black belt. You don't really need to do that at the green belt level. And in fact, the green belt level is where most of the projects are executed. And the black belt will oversee that person, or the master black belt will oversee that person in their project efforts. So yeah, it doesn't require technical knowledge. In fact, it is certainly something that each person, no matter what field you're in, you don't have to be in a manufacturing organization. You can be in an insurance company. You can be in education. You can be in a number of any industry that you can think of. Jamaican National Bank has a Lean Six Sigma program. National Commercial Bank of Jamaica has a Lean Six Sigma program.
Okay. So the program itself.
So
then
those organizations, they're focused on. Excuse me.
Yeah, go ahead.
I didn't hear that.
No, I'm saying.
So
go ahead, Mark.
Well, I didn't hear what your question was, but so those organizations in particular, as I did my due diligence in trying to promote Lean Six Sigma in Jamaica, my first presentation in Jamaica. Go ahead. You're going to say something?
Yeah. So as a follow-up to what you're saying, I understand you're talking about the Lean Sigma, and it's applicable to different industries. Now, one of your significant accomplishments is achieving cost reductions of over $2 million. Can you walk us through the project where you achieved these results and the impact it had on the organization?
Sure. Okay. So, for example, I'll give you because when I was a black belt, I'm a master black belt. When I was a black belt working at Hamilton Sunstrand, I would have to do projects. Okay. So what I would do is I would take this is a mechanical part. It's called an air cycle machine. All right. So now the air cycle machine had issues with its product yields. All right. So we were getting yields when we built this system. Our product yields were say 60%. Now I would look for the different models of air cycle machines, and I would try and group them all together. So I'd say I did 4 or 5 different models, and I know that the issue was yield. And I would do whatever analysis was required, with it applying statistics, doing an analysis of the cause and effect for the problem. Then if I identified what that problem was on one model, I could do the same with the other models. And with this particular air cycle machine, the problem was that the yields were low, because with an air cycle machine, you have to balance it the same way in which you balance a tire wheel on your car. And because they call it a subsynchronous response, when that cycle machine is spinning and it's wobbling or it's not in sync. Okay, it's called a subsynchronous response. So you had to figure out why that you had that subsynchronous response. And what it basically boiled down to is the axis in which the air cycle machine turned or was spinning was out of sync. All right. Or let me not just out of sync. There were mechanical failures with the shaft that the air cycle machine would spin So there you have, identified where the problem was. And once I fixed that, I could apply that to, say, 6 or 7 other models. All right. And when you look at the fact that it was the yields, the low yields of 60% was bringing about costs of, $100,000, $200,000 a part. That's kind of like extrapolated out.
Gotcha.
And you solve that problem. So that's just one example.
All right. Thanks.
Appreciate that, Mark. And
I mean, I hope it wasn't too complicated, because it was just basically finding the solution to the subsynchronous response, changing out the shaft to put an arbor shaft in there that did not fluctuate,
You broke it down for us, the lay people. So thanks. It was well broken down.
All right. So let's keep it moving here. Appreciate that answer, Mark. Let's acknowledge some of the folks watching us. So Gavin McCook, thanks for joining us. Good evening. Good evening, Lisa Richmond. You're always here with us. Our number one person. All right. So we appreciate you watching. All right. Dr. Juan, I know you have some questions. Hello, Rosine Williams. We appreciate you joining us. Dr. Juan, I know you have some questions for Mark.
Good evening, gentlemen. Good evening to our audience. It's kind of to jump off from this talk about Lean Six Sigma. Thank you for breaking it down for us. But kind of want to jump into the Caribbean American diaspora newspaper, if we can do that.
Sure.
You've recently taken on the role of publisher and editor-in-chief of the CADN, the newspaper. What inspired you to start this new chapter in your career?
Yes. Would you like to hear that journey? Or?
Absolutely.
Okay. So our first edition is coming out in January 20th. Connecticut, prior to, so I have my life in journalism began when I became the public relations officer for the National Association of Jamaican and Supportive Organizations. They wanted somebody that could write articles, write things about what was going on with the organization, what was happening in member organizations. And if for those of you who are not familiar with the National Association of Jamaican and Supportive Organizations, at one time, there was 500 organizations across the United States, and it was a very powerful organization. That's no longer the case. But at that time, when I got involved, I became their public relations officer. I became their reporter. I wrote for the Jamaica Gleaner. I wrote for the West Indian American newspaper. I wrote for the Observer. Fast forward to, the West Indian American newspaper is a Hartford newspaper, and I was a staff writer there. That newspaper ended in April of 2024. First, I was asked to take over the paper by the owners, and something happened. It didn't happen, so I just started my own. All right. So but in filling that void, it was also the community's request. The community wanted a paper. The Caribbean community, being the 4th largest population of Jamaicans in the United States, the community knew that I was a media person in the diaspora. They knew I wrote for the West Indian American newspaper, and they said, "Hey, Mark, we need a paper." Okay, and that writing isn't something I enjoyed. It's my passion. I have a show now. I have a show called the Jamaica Diaspora Show that started in 2016, and the Jamaica Diaspora Show is aired on Hartford Public Access Television, which is our local public access TV station. And then when we air on Hartford Public Access Television, we put that show, especially if it's a good show, out on YouTube or the Hartford Public Access TV website. But so my focus with the paper is to merge the media mediums that I have, and coupled with the servant leadership roles that I do, because I'm a photographer, I'm a videographer. I do medical missions with Help Jamaica Medical Mission. For the club, I still will go in and be their photographer, for the night. So, I do public relations for the Institute of Industrial and Systems Engineers. So all of my activities, it falls in line with needing to be able to report on what's going on in the community. And there's so much going on, and there's always an event to attend. There's there's always a conference to go to, and there's always information to share and to be shared. So that's what led me to start this paper. We're looking for writers. We're looking for advertisers. We're looking for contributors. We're looking for people that are interested in sharing stories. And what I also have to add, when I have a site on a WhatsApp group called the Global African Caribbean American Diaspora Group, and I started that site originally because I'm the public relations officer for the Institute of for the Institute of Caribbean Studies, and in that role, we are the facilitators of National Caribbean American Heritage Month. I'm the Connecticut representative, so I started that month, that site, to disseminate information for National Caribbean American Heritage Month, and then I just kept it going. So I just tried to find a way to which I could keep it going, and I kept it going by just pooling or teaming with a colleague from the UK, Rudy Page. Him and we decided that we would continuously put out information that was needed. Business, arts, health, education, entertainment, politics, trade, investment, making connections. And so, but the newspaper, Caribbean American Diaspora newspaper, we're excited about it. We want to present a new focus. We want to bring in young people. I have an associate editor that's she's 33 years old, Cornell grad, English major. She said they didn't have journalism when she was in college, and so she sees this as a great opportunity, and I'm glad to have her, because we need to embrace our youth, and she's a bright young lady, and I'm just trying to bring in youth and embrace them as we have in the organizations that I'm a part of.
All right. So Juan, do you have another question, or Augusta?
I'll pass it on to Augusta.
Listen, Brother Marcus lived an interesting life. If nothing else, I know he could define, measure, analyze, approve, and control, right?
Jamaic, right? Okay.
I took.
He knows Jamaic. That's Jamaic.
I know a little
so he knows something.
So with all of that background,
but let me tell you. See.
No, go ahead.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I was going to say, but we right now, I'm with the United States Navy. I've been with the Navy for 10 years, or over 10 years, 13 years. And this is no secret, that we need to be preparing for war, okay? Because our enemies are, okay? And they're announcing it, okay? And so at the submarine base, my responsibilities in Lean Six Sigma is to improve the processes, okay? The processes that are involved here is submarine maintenance. Just like you have maintenance on your car, when those submarines come in after 6-9 months, there's maintenance that has to be done. And the divisions that are responsible for doing that maintenance, they need to be able to, well, those divisions report to me, or they report to my function. And we review and we facilitate the maintenance activities and the processes surrounding submarine maintenance. And currently, we are doing the same thing to prepare maintenance teams to go in contested areas, war zone. Okay, so that's pretty much what I do now with Lean Six Sigma. They changed the name to say Get Real, Get Better. And it is just preparing the warfighter, making sure that the equipment is ready, making sure that we are ready for war. And so that's been the focus of what I've been doing. I just got a promotion into this new position where they just elevated everything because of the threat that we have. So I'm applying those Lean Six Sigma principles in those processes to put the team together so that we can deploy teams into contested areas.
So Mark, just to make sure.
Lean Six Sigma goes all around. It doesn't matter. Everything is a process. Think about that. Everything is a process.
Mark, just make sure you're not giving away any secrets, all right? Augusta, to your questions. Go to your questions.
So in regards to that, hearing the work with the Navy, hearing newspapers and all of this, it seems like you're consistently leading from the front. So in all of those years of leadership and across those different fields and entities, how have you maintained the ability to kind of navigate through that diversity? And even as you spoke about bringing in somebody younger as your editor, how do you continue to keep that mindset and that non-fixed mindset and apply it to these dynamic environments?
How do I do it? Fasting and prayer. Fasting and prayer keeps my energy up, keeps my energy going, keeps me energized. That's pretty much been a way of life. I was on a 55-day fast when I just said to myself, I'm going to do this paper. All right. And yes, 55 days. That was my longest. I usually do 30 and 40, but it does make a difference. There's so many benefits, and it just keeps, that's what keeps me going. In fact, it seems like I pay more attention to my health as I started to pay more attention to my health as I got older. Fasting is something that I learned in my 20s. I'm 72 years old. Okay, so fasting is something that I learned very early, and it's something that I practice and I continue to practice. And then it always brings me into some new train of thought or some new thing that I want to research. So I just started researching on melanin. I hope that I will add some melanin series in the paper, because that was a fast. I I don't know. I just picked up one book and I said, and I bought 10 more. Okay. And so now I think I'm an expert on melanin, and we'll see. We'll see.
Awesome.
But that's what I'm looking at. That's what keeps me focused. That's what allows me to continue. And then I have, my grandchildren that, keep me active also.
Yeah, the grandchildren will always do it. So, Mark, you have invested a significant amount of your time in the National Association of Jamaica and Supportive Organization, NAJASO, right? You spent a lot of your time there. And what kind of impact? Where is NAJASO right now as an organization?
It's gone. It's an organization. We did our best to try and revive it. We wrote articles, or actually for many years. And I think I left the organization in 2019. And people would ask, "Hey, what's going on with NAJASO?" It's poor leadership. It was just we made an effort. Dr. Davidson, myself, Dr. Clark, a number of people. We made an effort to revive the organization, and we couldn't do it. And without going into details, it was just something we weren't able to achieve. So just kind of said, well, walk away. And that's what I did. But the organization was once, talking 500 organizations, is now down to 10 organizations. That's how bad the organization is declined.
Hearing it from you, it's gone, right? The organization is gone. But you are on a mission to promote a catalyst for change. Why is that so important?
Well, because history is important. And that history is important. And I hope there can be some learning from it. Because NAJASO was once the most powerful Jamaican diaspora organization in the United States. Now we don't have really a diaspora organization of that magnitude. And we need one. We need the history of NAJASO, which was formed in 1977, when you had as many at one time. I think it was as I said, up to 500 organizations across the United States. It was service. It was all about service. All about service within the community, service to Jamaica, service to the Caribbean region. And unfortunately, that large body is not there. But we have pockets of organizations and people like yourself, like what you're doing, that are actively involved in the diaspora, making contributions, and so that's how we can continue to extend it.
So
groups will evolve.
So we have this body of work in the book called A Catalyst for Change, and one of your things to update it. Where are you in that process of updating the book?
Well, I've got a lot of information. I actually, the book goes from 1977 to 2012. I actually joined the organization in 2013. So from 2013 up till, I'll say 2020 at least, there's a lot to cover. That's 7 years. And so because right after 2019, we ran into the COVID period, and there was not much activity for those years, but there's a lot to put in there.
And I would imagine
transpired
up to 2025, right? There's
well, there's not been much going on. That's kind of
we
like
have,
where
we have GIFs doing great things, lots of information happening. I would say there's a lot going on outside. Yeah, more information that needed to be added. If this is a collection of information about Jamaicans doing things in the diaspora, I would say there's so much more going on. But that's another conversation.
With Najasso, okay.
No, yes, with the book. I'm talking about the book, Catalyst for Change.
Oh.
And my conversation is about the book, because you already told us that Najasso is a thing, pretty much a thing of the past. So I'm concerned and wanted to know more about the book.
It's just we would just update the book to the present time, and that's a discussion that I need to have with my co-chair, Dr. Davidson, and say what do we want to say about this? What do we want to say about when we left the organization in 2019 and the headbutting that went on as we made our exit? How do we want to put that in the book? So we have to have that discussion.
Interesting reading.
No, I don't think we want that in the book. What we want in the book is what will edify us, right? Educate us, and
But,
so we don't want that.
Yeah. So,
gentlemen, let's take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll talk about leadership and mentoring, because that's something that Mark is very involved. So let's talk about that a little bit when we come back. If I can play, which video should we play, guys?
Top Star.
Oh wow, let's do it.
Running. Blessings from Jamaica. This is Sheila Top Star. Tonight I will be performing one of my latest single entitled Far. Yeah. Now this song is a reflection of my life. However, I believe that this song can also be a reflection of your life. Enjoy. Where me I come from, I me know where me I go. Where me I come from, I me know where me I go. Me see the aim, me a navigate to success. Working smart, no rest. Me a see the progress. Want to achieve, so me give it my best. Me I do my thing now, watch no one else. Some of them a stay up, thought they were my friends. Smile with me, but I meet them against them. Want to set up my life and my journey end. Know me I am far, but as a winner me no know about failure. Have to make it big, have to make it major. Stacking the currency paper. Far me I come from, I me know where me I go. Far me I come from, I me know where me I go. Now last me way now, cause me know where me I go. Far me I come from, I me know where me I go. Me know me I go, cause me know me I come from. Where me I come from, dark like dungeon. Some say me not go nowhere, that's my assumption. But mine I kill them, so them brain function. Far me I come from, and I turn back. Overcome my struggles, me no want it come back. Judas them a fight me, Mortal Kombat. Them full up of jealousy and judge, I no love that. You know me I aim for top star, God never fear no danger. Have to make it big, have to make it major. Stacking up the currency paper. Far me I come from, and me know where me I go. Far me I come from, and me know where me I go. Now last me way now, cause me know where me I go. Far me I come from, and me know where me I go. Learn a lot along the way. Sorry if you mark a dog, them bite the enemies. Me know the pain me get betrayed. Me conquer emotion, use a spit and pave the way. Calm me mind and relax. Me nah go worry, I guide nah fear. Them say the good, you set the date and the chops. Trying to get me in a trouble with the cops still. You know me, I am far. Born as a winner, me don't know about failure. Have to make it big, have to make it major. Stacking up your currency paper. Far me I come from. Me know where me a gone. I tell you something, I lost my way now. Cause me know where me a gone. Far me a come from. And me know where me a gone.
How about that? Nah, lose my way. Far me I come from, right? All right, welcome back to Bridging Generation Voices of Men. We have our special guest tonight, Mr. Mark Milward, and he's sharing all kinds of powerful information from, a very difficult topic that Gary struggled to introduce to the things happening in Jamaican diaspora. Mark has been very involved, especially in Hartford, Connecticut, where they have the fourth largest concentration of Jamaicans in the United States. And that's a big, big thing, right? And so, Gary, Atlanta Falls, number 5, is that what it is?
Yeah, Mark is saying the 5, I think, right, Mark?
Yeah. Yes.
New York.
Yes. I went to, in Harlem, I went to Schaumburg, and I made sure I got on the census. And
okay.
I was checking the numbers because I was trying to do my demographic study.
Well, I'm inclined to accept anything that Mark is going to say. He's very precise. Mark is very precise. He's going to tell you, and he's going to do his research.
Define, measure, analyze, improve, control.
Exactly. So anyway, let's shift to something else that Mark is very involved with, is leadership and mentoring. So, Dr. McCook, you want to lead off, and then we'll go to Dr. Juan?
Yes. So, Mark, with decades of experience in leadership roles across different fields, how do you ensure effective communication and collaboration in such diverse and dynamic environments?
I try and communicate, to any person at any level, whether you're the president of a company or you're a person, that is not sophisticated. I'm able to communicate with people at all levels. At whatever level they're on, that's the level I can communicate with. If I'm on a medical mission, I'm interviewing patients that, have serious problems and not so serious problems. And so I'm able to communicate with them. I'm asking them, well, how did you like the service that you received today? And, I could appreciate their appreciation for what was offered to them. I interview a lot of people whether it's at a conference or if it's an interview that I set up in the studio, or I go to their location. It could be a millionaire or a billionaire. It's a conversation, and I'm just trying to, and I'm generally interested in the conversation. So that's kind of how I communicate. It doesn't matter to me what level that person is. I just communicate at the common level of why we're here, what the situation is, and what it is we're trying to discuss.
So you're basically tailoring it.
Yeah, I fit the person, whoever they are. I think Dr. Stephenson knows, like on my show, my first guest was the Prime Minister, and followed up with him with Michael Lee Chin, and in fact with Michael Lee Chin, I learn things. When I have these interviews, I learn things and I listen. I listen to him off camera. Okay. I learned more off camera than I did on camera. In fact, at the time when I interviewed him, this was the time before people realized how significant the Jamaica Stock Exchange was, because I had mentioned that to him and he gave me some great insights there. So I listen, I talk with interest, and I have a genuine interest in the person that I'm talking to in the conversation that we're having. Listen.
Awesome. Knowing your audience and respecting them. And so, they say it's all about shared, when you're having communication, right? Each party must learn something or should learn something from the conversation. So, Dr. Juan.
I've learned a lot.
Absolutely. Dr. Juan, question for Mark?
Yes. So mentorship has always been a recurring theme just in your career and just your endeavors and everything. What is your philosophy when it comes to coaching and developing future leaders?
Just, I try and, like the person that I'm mentoring now, I've been mentored. I've still got mentors. I've mentored lately mentored people into the diaspora, and it's been young people, and as well as older, more mature people, like that have had an interest in getting involved in the diaspora, whether it's going to a conference, going to the congressional, going to Washington, D.C. at the Congressional Building during National Caribbean American Heritage Month, or in this case of mentoring this young lady who wants to get into journalism. So I don't know if I'm answering your specific question, but I just have a interest in particularly giving young people an opportunity to move forward the way that I was given the opportunity, with other people that have mentored me, and they're still mentoring me. I'm still being mentored. Okay. So it's just sharing information, sharing knowledge, and particularly in areas that I'm interested in. This paper, I only want to do it for 10 years. And I really would like this person to, and I told him that, hey, at some point I want to start traveling. I'm traveling now, but I want to just, eventually just turn it over to someone. And I
10
hope
years more,
that, because it'll be with 10 years. I'm giving myself 10 years and then I'm out, and I don't really want that responsibility anymore, but because, they can do it. Like the West Indian Social Club has been around for 75 years, and it's struggling. And we've been trying to find young people to come in, and we can't find them. We can't find the young people to come in, and I don't know what the organizations are going to do. I give my time because it's my parents' legacy. My father's a founder. I'm pursuing post-mortem ODs for the success that organization has had.
Mark, one of the reasons we have this program is to create solutions for problems like that, and that's why we call it bridging generations, right? And that is what is lacking in the population and Caribbean population and all populations, right? all groups of people. So the only reason why we put this thing together, this platform together with this particular program, is to do just that, bring the generations together. And what I hear you saying, that's a problem.
Yeah. And I, I have this young person that I'm trying to develop, and I'm having challenges, with her, and because they're not like us. When we were, we would, you see that person that, had a lot of knowledge. You come to them with a certain amount of respect and appreciation. They're ready to challenge you, and they haven't done anything. They haven't done anything. And but they're smart, but they don't understand that experience means something. And so you have to be patient. We have children, so, we know how our children are, we know how to raise children. But yeah, they're different to me. Yeah, they're not like the way I was, where, if a person had knowledge, I'm gonna keep my mouth shut and I'm gonna learn as much as I can. I'm not gonna jump out there and
So Mark, is there something
act like I know just as much as they do? That's how they act sometimes. Yeah. I don't want to hit it up with our young people because they're challenged in these times, and they have to find their way, but just have to be patient. And
Mark, do we have a role to play with that? Do we have a role to play?
Yes.
Is there something we can do different? Are we sort of somewhat fixed in our ways as well?
Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
Well, you just, I embrace them. I try and, overlook some of their arrogance, because that, they're like that. They're just different. I can't explain it other than the fact that they're not like when I know a person has knowledge that I want, I'm going to, just, hey, do you need some coffee? What do you need? It's kind of like, I appreciate, those people that have that knowledge, and it doesn't seem like they embrace it the way I did. I don't know.
Right. I was going to say, I actually think the point that he's speaking to leads into one of the questions, even with just the advent of technology and self-automation and autonomous vehicles and how fast it is moving at just such an expedient rate. With that being said, you're somebody who is
super on that.
Yeah, you're kind of riding, in these various roles that you have. I would ask, not just the balancing of the roles, but how do you maintain those rich traditions of Jamaican and West Indian culture and kind of blend it with the innovation of today to be able to tap into the youth? Like, how do you, in the areas you've been successful at it at this point, even speaking to your co-editor and other individuals who you're currently mentoring, how do you see that going, or the areas that you've been successful in that endeavor? What's the goal to, continue that on? How do you tap into this next generation of Mark Willards, Gary McCooks, and Laxley Stephensons, that next generation of Jamaicans and West Indians? How do you maintain that tradition and blend it with the innovation?
Well, I try, I'm trying to bring them to the level, like with this newspaper, I want to bring it to the level where she can take it over and run it. Okay, eventually. I teach classes at the submarine base. And when sailors come in, I try and mentor them in the discipline. I guide them along the principles. So it's kind of it's what they need, as a means to be competent, to what they need to be independent of me, and also to be, contributors. I give them as much as I can, in whatever area that is, whether it's in Lean Six Sigma or whether it's in media or if it's in connecting people. That's something that I also try my best to do.
Okay.
I'm trying to connect people now to for whatever projects they have when I have that time. Because I'm being in the media, I was able to make a lot of contacts. So if I can help in that way, that's what I do.
Awesome.
I hope I answered.
Mark, I have one question, then we're going to go to closing arguments, right? And clearly you have achieved a lot, and you talk about mentoring and being mentored. How did you get to where you are? Who mentored you? Who's that one person that you can point to that's played such an important role in your life?
That is hard. Starting with the parents, okay? I was blessed to have a strong mother and a strong father, both very strong. Mother lived to be 100. Father, being a Jamaican, he left us at around 80 years old. He lived, and but my go rephrase your question.
I just want you to single out one person who played just one person. I can't really say one person, but I'll start with my parents, mother, and my cousin Oliver Thompson, George Oliver. He had a profound impact on me, as far as service goes. He actually he received Dr. McCook. He received the OD.
Yep.
He received it in 1993, and when he died, he left it to me in his will.
Wow, that speaks volumes.
I have it. Okay.
Yes.
And I also have his
scrapbook.
scrapbook. Okay. I have the coach's scrapbook. Yes. Wow. And so he had a profound impact on me, outside of my parents.
That's significant. Mm-hmm. Gentlemen, Mark, we're going to go around the room and we're going to have closing arguments. But Mark, we'll start with you. And anything else that you want to add in the form for closing argument? We asked you a number of questions, but we didn't ask you all the questions. So is there
I would like to continue this association. I don't know if I could share my screen. Am I able to? No. I'm not able to share anything.
Platform. On this platform.
All right. So, I want to share with you, the media that we're producing on the Caribbean American Diaspora newspaper, and ask that you consider submitting articles, that you consider submitting advertisements in the paper, and so I would ask that we continue to see how we can help each other. I'm sure that as I start producing this paper, that I'm going to have a lot of opportunities to meet more people and expand as we all do in media. We're always looking to expand. So that's it. I like to know more about Augusta. I like to know more about Mr. McCook, and Dr. Marcel. I would like to know more about you and what you're doing. And of course, Dr. Stephenson, I know we're going to be in touch.
Absolutely. And you know what you can do is after the show you can just hang on for a minute and you'll get to meet these gentlemen in a different setting. So Juan, we'll move to you.
We talked about a lot. Our closing arguments, I would just say definitely it was a true honor and pleasure to be in your company, your presence. I'm one who's big on, like you said, being mentored and mentoring others.
Honor is mine. The pleasure is mine.
Yeah. So mentoring is big, and so I just commend you for keeping that door open.
The honor is mine. The pleasure is mine.
Mm-hmm. And that's
Thank
it.
you.
It's
All right, Juan, you'll come back and close out the show, of course.
Thank you.
Dr. McCook.
Well, Mark, I mean, very interesting. Thank you so much. I'm glad we have a lot in common in terms of that. Fortis, you mentioned that coach's scrapbook. So we're going to talk.
I am a Fortis associate.
Yes. But you know, with such
a Fortis associate.
Yes, with such a career, you know, it's kudos to you. I mean, you wear many hats, and the information you have, I'm sure the youth will benefit a lot. So the mentoring you're doing, and you were mentored, that's why you're such a good mentor. I commend you for that, and we look forward to continuing conversations with you. I enjoy the conversation. I've learned a lot, and you know, each time I come on this podcast and we have guests, I try and take away.
I'd like to know more about. I would like to.
Go ahead.
I would like to learn more about JI. I'd like to learn more about your organization.
Yes, and as Dr. Laxley, once we are off here, once we culminate this session, then we'll break it down afterwards, and I'm sure we will gain a lot from each other. So thanks again.
Thank you.
Augusta?
I greatly appreciate the opportunity to share the space with Mr. Milward. He is a plethora of information, and he has lived a life that has been truly a blessing, and that tomorrow he gets to get up and do it again and continue on. So yeah, I'm absolutely looking forward to, after this, connecting with him, and also know some people who probably would be interested in just wanting to know him and glean some of the information they have from him. So greatly appreciate your time, sir, you sharing this space with us.
Thank you. And we do have a section in our paper on literature, books and literature. So be interested in, and we do review books. I review books on the Jamaica Diaspora Show. I bring on a guest and we review their book and we record that show. So just so you know that.
Awesome.
We support that.
Yeah.
Glenn Lehman of Kingston College is a person that I communicate with occasionally.
Yep, good guy.
Mark, we really appreciate you taking time to come on the show tonight, and
thank you.
You've shared a lot. There's a lot that you didn't get to say that you can come back and say it another time. But you're doing awesome work in the diaspora. You're doing serious work in your profession, money-making profession, what you're doing. You talk about your work with the Navy and preparing our troops to go into war. And that's real stuff. That's serious business right there, right? That's serious business. Your work with the book, I support that. I believe it's important. Catalyst for change, we got to preserve our history. Very important, I believe. So I encourage you to keep that going, get it done, update it to today, 2025. Update it, because there's so much more that can be added and should be added to that book. So really want to say thank you for coming on. But I do have something I want to say. So as we close today's show, I want us to take a moment to reflect on the power of knowing who we are and why we are here. And I'm not talking about why we're here in this podcast. Why we're here, occupying the space we occupy. Each of us carries a story, and today Mark shared a part of his story, small piece. And our stories are shaped by those who came before us and the choices we make today. We are bridges between generations. I know that's so important to Mark. You talk about the difficulties you're having in your organization in bringing younger people in. We must understand that at our age, wherever we are bridges between generations. So if we're 70, 80, we're 20, whatever the age, we are bridges. We have to connect with each other. And we can do that through our voices, our actions, and our purpose. Those are the things that connect the past to the future. So I'm not just talking to the four of us. I'm talking to anyone who will be listening to this podcast. We must remember and understand ourselves, and that life isn't just about self-discovery. It's also about embracing our role in the greater picture, in the bigger picture. Knowing why we are here fuels our ability to make a difference, no matter how small or big that difference is. So whether through our wisdom shared, as Mark did with us tonight, kindness given, as Augusta, Mr. McCook, Juan, you do it so often, you're always spreading kindness. Or whether it's through bold steps taken, each of us, we have a role to play in shaping tomorrow. So my takeaway, and Augusta, you use this word, live intentionally. Ground yourself in purpose and inspire those around you to do the same. Because together we must work and create a legacy that honors the past, and thrives in the present and empowers the future. Again, I want to thank you, Mark, for joining us in Bridging Generations, Voices of Men. And Juan, as always, I'm going to turn it over to you to close it out.
Yes. Well, we have a new time. So for those, our good audience, our guests, our other co-hosts, see us every week, but now on Mondays at 7:30. So you're welcome. We appreciate you joining us, and we appreciate our distinguished guests for tonight. I do want to leave with this, though. Maya Angelou said, if you're going to leave behind a legacy, make an impact on a world that can never be erased. And that is what we've been talking about, a legacy. So all of us, as we're going forward, do something that matters. You ain't got to do everything, but do something. So as we leave tonight, we will see y'all in the days to come. Just figure out what that thing is that you can do that's going to create and leave a legacy that cannot be erased. Y'all have a good evening.
Thank you.
Forge of life from the strong survive. A trail is written of hearts that strive.